You've tuned in to the 49ers Rush podcast, and here is your host, jl-chapman.
All right, 49ers fans, welcome back to another edition of the 49ers Rush podcast. This episode, we are going to be breaking down the defense and offensive line in our recent loss to the Chargers. Man, tough, heartbreaking game. We lost 29-27, and if you want to hear the offense, go back to the episode right before this. We already broke them down on Sunday. Usually what I like to do is get an episode out as soon as the game is over, but I like to watch the film at least 3 times through before I jump on here. So do the offense on Sunday, then usually wait 2 or 3 days, get the defense out. Then later in the week, we'll have our scout Clayton on, scouting our upcoming opponent, and that's what's going to be coming out the rest of the week. So without further ado, let's get into defensive MVP. I am going with the pick six man himself, Anton Exum Jr. He played up and down. He came out as Pro Football Focus 5th rated defender for us. But just the fact that he played every single snap that we had from the strong safety position and graded out positive. You know, his stats are not amazing. He only had 2 total tackles, and he had some missed tackles. This is one thing that he's going to have to step up. But, you know, getting that pick six right off the bat on the opening series was just game-changing. It kept us in the game, and actually, you know, we felt like we were going to walk away with a win there, up 14-0. But, you know, slowly they came back. The Chargers are the Chargers, and they eventually get the win. But real quick, what I want to do is just go over a drive summary. They had 12 drives. Again, as I mentioned, they open up the game, the pick six on the first drive. It was awesome. We have started so slow for the past year and a half on defense in particular. So it was great to come out and kind of, you know, assert our will on this offense. The second drive, 3 and out. We got 2 back-to-back pressures by Reuben Foster to force bad passes. And the crazy thing is, we blitzed Reuben Foster 5 times in this game. That's it. And he had the best pass rush grade. I don't know why we are not blitzing more. This front four for the 49ers cannot generate pressure. Even DeForest Buckner, his numbers have been awful the past 2 games. He had 2 hurries this game. That's it. That is not sufficient. We have to generate pressure through scheme and through blitzing. I wish we would do more of that. Third drive, they come out. 54-yard field goal attempt was no good. And so the first 3 drives, 0 points. That's amazing. Then things start to change. The fourth drive, they get a touchdown to a wide-open Gates. This was a huge problem, miscommunication. What happened was they had the tight end Gates split out, and Akilo was on the split out outside of that, and Reuben Foster was on Gates. And it seemed like Akilo was playing man coverage, and Foster was playing zone. So somebody was wrong there. We don't know who. But regardless, gave up a touchdown pass there. The next drive, touchdown to Eckler. They isolated him one-on-one on the outside. It was an empty set. And, man, I really do not want one-on-one situation on the outside. He just got beat on a go route. So, anyway, the 6th drive, they get a field goal right before the half. So, that's 3 straight drives with points. That's not okay. The half ends. They come out for their 7th drive, and they pick up right where they left off. Touchdown to Gordon after one of the worst zone coverage ever seen. And, again, this goes against Akilo Witherspoon. And it goes against our whole team, to be honest with you. We run a single high cover 3 format, and we even run underneath coverage, and we mix it up sometimes too to do kind of a cover 2, cover 3 hybrid where we'll roll over to the heavy receiver side. But the problem is this. If you're in zone coverage, your job is to defend a space, whatever space that is, whether you're in the flats, whether you're deep, whether you're right in the middle, hook to curl zone, doesn't matter. The problem is whenever somebody comes into your area, it's no longer okay to guard the area. You then adapt to man coverage. Whenever somebody is within your zone, you play man. And we do not do this. As a defense, this is a huge flaw because we'll have guys sit and they'll just plant their feet and look at the receiver who is open 3 yards in front of them and just be content with that. Well, I'm in my area. This is okay. Which allows for a quarterback like Phillip Rivers that has a crazy quick delivery to get the ball to his wide receiver, and our mindset is, well, we'll close on it and then make a tackle. That doesn't work. It just doesn't work in the NFL. we have a very inexperienced secondary, and it is showing continuously. And I think this is a scheme-based issue and a coaching problem. Our defensive side is not coached well. We're just not. And it doesn't help that we have a lot of inexperienced players out there. You combine youth with poor coaching, and missed tackles and blown assignments is what you're going to get. And that's what we continue to get. It's not getting better. The missed tackle issue is huge. We are still leading the entire NFL in missed tackles. We have to fix these issues, and we're not fixing them. So sorry about the complaints. Let's get back on it. Now, after the touchdown to Gordon, they get a field goal after a 3-and-out. And I will say this. This is after the interception with the big return. Should have been a pick six. But, we got some great effort. Gary Gilliam, I'm going to dog him later on, but great effort, chasing down almost 80 yards the opposite side for a tackle to get in on the tackle to stop the touchdown was huge. And we hold them to a field goal. That was a huge win for the defense. Then after that, punt, the 10th drive punt after Maben came in. Maben was legit the number one overall rated player for our defense. He came in spot duty. My guess is he will be starting next week. I hope he will be. The 11th drive, they get a field goal after 21 yards. Gordon broke every tackle ever. We got really, really tired. It seemed like we were tackling pretty well in the first half, but as the game went on, it got worse, and worse. And then the final 12th defensive drive, we held them to a punt, and we just didn't do anything with it. So that's kind of the drive summary. And, man, in the middle of it, we started off great. But then 4th drive, touchdown, 5th drive, touchdown, 6th drive, field goal, 7th drive, touchdown, 8th drive, field goal, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 straight drives with points. And that's just not going to cut it. You cannot do that. You can't allow 6 straight drives. We did the exact same thing against the Chiefs. We allowed 6 drives of all touchdowns, and then we decided to buckle down. We have to be consistent. We just have to be consistent. So, real quick, let's talk about our sponsor. MyBookie, I love these guys. I like to bet, and they're a safe place to bet with if you know what you're doing. They have prop bets on everything, and the best thing about this site is when you win, they pay you. So all you got to do is just head over to MyBookie, MyBookie, and whenever you start an account there, whatever you deposit initially to set up your account, they're going to match it. Just use my promo code, or our promo code, RUSH100. They will match your initial deposit dollar for dollar. Head over there. That's MyBookie. And again, when you win, you don't have to worry about anything. You're going to get your money. So let's get into the players and kind of how they graded out. I just tweeted out Pro Football Focus top 5 and bottom 5, which I want to focus on for our defense. Number 1, as I said, Greg Maben. How great is that? He only got 29 snaps, so right at about 50% of the snaps. He came in when Jimmy Ward got benched, and crazy thing is, Jimmy Ward did not play good, but he played pretty well for Jimmy Ward's standards. I would prefer to have Maben in just because there's some upside there. There's zero upside with Jimmy Ward. It's just not his game, football. It's just not for him. So Greg Maben comes and gets 29 snaps and played very, very well. 3.5 tackles, 2 isolated run stops, gets a forced fumble, and even, his coverage was legit. The only player for the entire 49ers team to allow less than a 50% catch rate. He was targeted 5 times and only allowed 2 catches for 18 yards, and 2 yards after the catch. He was there. So I'm pretty excited to see what he is going to do because as of right now, we have Richard Sherman. That is all. The cornerback position, it's Sherman or bust. Ahkello Witherspoon, he's in the bottom 5. He had a 62.9 grade. He has allowed a league-high 4 touchdown receptions against him. He's the 5th most targeted player in the entire NFL, which makes it even worse because he's missed time due to injury. So even though he's out time, he is getting targeted and picked on by everybody. He was targeted 8 times in this game, allowed 5 catches for 39 yards and a touchdown, and I really think he should have that other touchdown on him as well because that's whenever him and Reuben Foster messed up. If he would have stayed in his outside zone, it would have been just a simple switch route, but that's what it is. So congrats to Maben. He played amazing. Eric Armstead, he had an 82.4 grade, and what he does is everything in the run game. Eric Armstead is a run-stuffing defensive end, and if you can get any pressures, then great. That's bonus. And he ended up leading our entire team in pressures with 4, which was awesome. We didn't get to the quarterback very much in this game. Sheldon Day had the only sack, but outside of that, Sheldon Day played very, very bad. But Eric Armstead, absolutely awesome job. His stats are never going to be great, but he's just a positive player that you have out there. I understand a lot of the 49ers fan base can't stand him because he was a first-round pick. I get it. We need to forget that. He is a positive player on a very bad defense. Eric Armstead is not the issue. He's not the issue. He's just not. DJ Jones only got 17 snaps, but he was the 3rd highest rated player. And again, if we compare him to Earl Mitchell, they're pretty much the same guy. Neither one of them really stood out. They were graded very, very similarly. DJ Jones had a 76, and Earl Mitchell had a 70. And neither one of them are big stat guys. Earl Mitchell got 2 tackles. DJ Jones got 1. So that's kind of where it is. They get graded in the middle on occupying blockers and getting penetration. Cassius March, who I have dogged over and over again, he comes out as the 4th rated player. And really, I feel like the coaching staff is finally starting to understand. He had his lowest number of snaps, which was great, 28 snaps, whereas he hadn't had any other game where he was less than, I think, 44. And this is where he needs to be. He is a role player. He's not an every down guy. And so the fact that he only got 28 snaps, he was effective, somewhat. He only got 1 hurry and 1 tackle, but he didn't grade out negatively. Usually he gets blown off the ball and just is a non-factor, but congrats. I really appreciate Marsh playing a role. That's what we have to do with these defenders. And if we look at that, Solomon Thomas is the flip side of that. The 2nd worst rated player. He didn't play well. He hasn't played well all year. 49 snaps, and he only got 1 hurry. He had 2 tackles, and that's it. The only thing that you could say about Solomon Thomas in this game was that he didn't have a missed tackle. This is his highest graded game ever by tackling, and that's a 71 grade, which is just average for a starter. This is his highest grade ever. So props on fixing the tackling, but just no pressures whatsoever. He only has 6 pressures on the entire year. That's not okay. I don't understand. So if we look at what he's done the entire year, okay, Solomon Thomas has played 163 snaps. He only has 6 hurries. That's 1 hurry per 27 snaps, 0 sacks, 6 missed tackles. 6 total tackles, 4 missed tackles. And we just keep putting him out there in the same position. Everybody, whenever he was drafted, said he needs to play on the inside, We have refused to do this. And I know I'm going to get flack for this. And people don't like it whenever I talk bad about our 3rd overall pick last year. I understand. It's not working. It's not working. You have to stop playing him outside. If that means don't play him, that's okay. He's a bust if we keep him out there. We are ruining this kid's career. I think that he is talented. I really, really do. But you don't draft a 5-tech and make him play the Leo position. It's not working. You have a year and a half of seeing that it doesn't work. Stop it. Trade him for a 5th rounder. I wouldn't care. Or play him where he needs to play. At some point, you have to say, we're ruining this kid's career. I do think that he can be effective, but this just isn't working. So I hope that they change something. Right now, as you can tell, I'm pretty pissed about our defensive coaches because what they are doing is not working. Our defense is absolutely garbage. Anyway, moving on. Fred Warner, he was our worst rated defender with a 53 grade, and I think a lot of that had to do with the passing game. And again, you're leaving this guy one-on-one with Austin Eckler, Melvin Ingram, Antonio Gates. That's coaching. He was targeted 4 times. All 4 were caught for 51 yards and a touchdown. He was great tackling. He got 10 total tackles, and I guess the main problem is just coverage, which I get it. The reason why we drafted him in the 3rd round was because we wanted him to be a coverage linebacker, but that doesn't mean you stick him out there in one-on-one coverage. Give the guy some help. We're playing bad because of our coaching, guys. That's a big deal. We've got to fix that. Reuben Foster played pretty well. Obviously got some pass rush right off the bat, but several missed tackles. This is kind of the problem. A couple missed tackles, and he got torched in the passing game as well. We keep playing our linebackers one-on-one against these skill guys, and you got to give it to the Chargers. They have some of the best skill position players in the entire NFL. He was targeted 6 times, gave up 4 catches for 40 yards and a touchdown. I think that touchdown should be on a kilo, but that's just me. So Kwan Williams played pretty well. Again, he had pretty tough duty. He was on Keenan Allen, one of the best route runners in the NFL the entire time, and so that was kind of an issue there. And Buckner, who I really haven't talked about, 2 games in a row of just being completely quiet. 2 tackles, 2 hurries, that's it. Nothing outside of that. So we definitely have to step up on defense. A couple things, let's just go over total stats, kind of how we did as a whole. We only allowed 368 total yards. You can win allowing that in the NFL. The area that we can't win in is only getting 1 sack. That's not okay. And again, we lost the turnover battle. So we had 2 interceptions. We threw 2 interceptions. They only threw 1. We cashed that one in for a pick 6, which was great. But you cannot lose the sack battle and you cannot lose the turnover battle and expect to win on the road versus a decent team. One of the best things is 3rd down, and probably hats off to this defense. This is the number 1 stat for us. They only converted 4 of 14 3rd downs. That is unreal. Usually the measuring stick for 3rd down conversions is 50%. If you hold them to under that, that's great. Anything over that, you need to step your game up, and this was unreal. 4 for 14. We played well enough to win this game. That's just the reality of the situation. Now, penalties weren't too bad. We only had 4 penalties for 29 yards. They had 5 for 49. I think we only won the penalty battle 2 times all of last year, so we were 2 for 14, so hopefully this will continue for us here. Now, let's jump over real quick to offensive line. It was bad. It was really, really bad. So, right off the bat, here we go. Gary Gilliam, he's bad. He's really, really, really bad. If we look at whenever he came in, when Joe Staley went down, he got 37 snaps. And in those 37 snaps, it got bad super, super quick. So out of 37 snaps, only 29 of those were in pass protection, and he allowed 5 pressures. He got C.J. Beathard hit twice, and he got him hit additional time, but it was a penalty that wiped out the play. But it's still, that's the thing. You can't come in. We knew who Gary Gilliam was before we got him. We knew who he was last year, and we just have refused to upgrade our swing tackle, the backup tackle position. I don't know why. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. On top of that, I don't understand whenever our left tackle goes down, we completely abandon the running game and leave this horrible left tackle out there just to do pass protection. That's not okay. That's not okay. Anyway, on top of that, our other tight end, as I've talked about, Garrett Selleck, he was the worst graded player for either side, offense, defense, 49ers, Chargers, and the entire thing. I talked about how bad he was last game. It was refreshing to see Pro Football Focus agree with me. Not that I'm glad that Garrett Selleck played bad, but he just played terrible. He got a 34.7 grade. Holy cow, that's abysmal. Joe Staley played amazing. The snaps that he was in there, he wasn't in there very much. He only got the 23 snaps before he got injured. And the good news is it's not looking like it's going to be serious. It's looking like he might be able to play this week, and we have to have him. If Joe Staley's not in there, he might be he's one of the most valuable players we have. Definitely top 3 for sure. You could have said Jimmy G. You could have said the running back that we paid all that money for, Jerick McKinnon. You could have said Richard Sherman. Oh, wait a second. All 3 of those guys are out. So let's just keep moving on. But Joe Staley, while he was in there, didn't allow 1 pressure whatsoever. Absolute phenomenal. Mike Pearson played great. Again, 60 snaps, no pressures allowed. Amazing. Eric Magnuson came in for 3 snaps because, man, Mike McGlinchey went down for a little bit, but in his 3 snaps, he did just fine. I wish we'd put Eric Magnuson out there at right tackle and McGlinchey at left tackle and just leave Gilliam on the bench if that's what we're going to do. But again, this just shows you the lack of depth that we have on the offensive side. We've already had a game where we lost all our guards, and now we've got a game where we lost both our tackles. It's not okay. Richburg played terrible. He gave up 3 pressures, allowed 1 hit against the quarterback, and his run game was not that great either. So he graded with a 67 in pass protection and a 47 in run blocking. So that was not great there. Mike McGlinchey played pretty well, but gave up 2 hurries. Overall, man, he's just been wonderful. I don't know how he toughed it out with his knee injury, but he's just a beast. Laken Tomlinson gave up 4 pass pressures, 4 hurries. That's not okay. That is very, very bad. So that will bring a close to our recap game, which we just want to be done with anyway, right? So we lose 29-27 against the Chargers. Next week, I'm excited. This is beyond a winnable game, probably the easiest game on our entire roster, but it isn't a divisional opponent. We play the Cardinals at home this week at 1:25 p.m. Pacific. Stay with us here in just a couple days. We'll have another episode out previewing the game, going over notes, injuries, all that kind of stuff, who's practicing, who's not, and making sure you guys are ready for this Sunday's action. Stay strong, faithful.